Justin.
Good morning.
Good morning. We have let me get this music turned down. Man, lots to talk about. This show, we are creating a monster here. Just to let you know, we are.
Tell me what are you hearing?
Well, what I'm hearing is what you're hearing. We're getting a lot of DMs.
Yeah.
When's the next show? Are you guys going to do this more than once or twice a week?
How do I join the Lone Speed group text?
How do I get in? I had to tell people several times. No, man, it's exclusive. It's private. It's we're not taking any new membership.
And we share a lot of that information with people anyway. So yeah, I mean, there are some winners that are given out. Sleep for the Weekend, Poppers, thank you for your hard work. Awesome.
Oh yeah, that was the thing. I wanted to recap into that.
Yeah, we'll get to it. I mean, we also got to get to
we got a lot of stuff to get into.
We got Biden out of the race now.
You want to start? Let's start with that.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I'll let you go because I honestly wasn't surprised. None of us were. And the guy has been basically mummified and hidden away. He's hidden right now. Supposedly he has COVID, but they've known about this for a while. And because his poll numbers weren't looking very good, they brought him back into the crypt and discarded him. I think they would have just left him out there if he was doing well in the polls. But what say you?
Yeah, a couple thoughts. I said a couple things on this show within the last 10 days or 2 weeks. One, I said I thought Biden was a great bet to be the next president at 9-1 odds. I stand by my assertion that would have been a good bet given the odds, but obviously it would be a losing bet. So, you never like to give out losers. I also stand by my claim, which I've wagered on, including with you, that Donald Trump will not be president again.
God, I hope you're wrong.
I think yesterday's events make me more likely to win than I was before. I'm a little fuzzy on where the race for the Democratic nomination stands. I can't tell if it's a foregone conclusion that Kamala Harris will be the nominee, or if there's going to be an actual process where they have to sort this out. It sounds like Kamala Harris will be the nominee. I predicted a year and a half ago the nominee would end up being Gavin Newsom. So maybe I'm wrong on all these predictions. I don't know. But my main prediction is that the Democrat Party, whoever ends up being the nominee, is more likely today to win the White House than they were yesterday. My opinion is that Kamala Harris or Michelle Obama would have almost no chance of winning. That's just what I think. I think Gavin Newsom would be their best bet. But
really,
I'm not that.
I think California, everybody would be pounding, like, Elon Musk leaving, a lot of other companies leaving, uh, people in general leaving the country. As a matter of fact, Michigan, New York, and California have droves of people leaving those areas to go to Texas, Tennessee, and Florida. That's the data.
Yeah, I know. That is true. But the other thing I said, I don't know if I said this on Spaces or if I said it on one of these shows that we do. I think that there's an element of the left, the Democrat Party, the voter base, liberals, whatever you want to call it. They enjoy giving the middle finger to people like you and me, and casting a vote for Gavin Newsom, who's the governor of a state that by most measures is not doing well. That is something I think many Democrats would love to do, because it's their way to say, yeah, fine, you hate California, you hate the homelessness and the drug addicts dying in the street, literally, and the fact that in many cases certain crimes aren't I mean, I know a guy in California who rents a storage locker, and he had about $4,000 worth of stuff stolen. They know the license plate of the car that did it, and they refused to investigate it because it was under $5,000. So I know people like Emily, Optics Emily, who you says like, oh, can you cite the source? Where's the link to this? I don't have time to go searching down links. I just know what people tell me, and I know what I see, which is that in California, they're sort of letting it turn into a shithole, and they're not always prosecuting crimes, and especially if the victim is a.
Well, isn't that a law in the books? It's common knowledge, though. Are you sure Emily's looking for sources? Because
No,
I don't know about the 5,000, but I think it was $750 or $900. That's like
yeah, I don't.
books.
This
That's
is
a law.
It's a different. I think it's a different set.
Like, Justin, you could go to San Francisco into a Walgreens and you could just take a bag and start. I mean, maybe I would dress up kind of dirty and stuff, I guess. I don't want to go in looking in, walking in with a suit, but you could just throw a bunch of stuff in a bag and just walk out and nobody's going to do nothing.
I mean, I think they're not willing to do much. They maybe won't do nothing, but they'll, they're obviously California is not I think most Americans do not want America to be like California. And sorry, I'm distracted by Nick the Kid's comment. And but I think a lot of liberals would love the opportunity to vote for Gavin Newsom. I don't know what's going to happen. I still stand by Trump will not be president, because the forces that are working against him are so much more powerful than he is and the rest of us are, that it's just not going to happen. I hope I'm wrong. I would love to pay you the amount you and I wagered, and Jay Saratoga, I'd love to pay him the amount I wagered with him, because that means Trump's president. But we'll see.
Yeah. So Kamala, she's not getting a ton of support. She got support from the Bidens, but Obama hasn't come forward. I think, Chuck Schumer and Nancy obviously haven't. The convention's going to be wild. And the super delegates and all that crap with the Democrat Party, it's a lot different than how the GOP does it. How do you think that's going to shake out? What's going to be the attempt from all those different factions?
Yeah, I'm not, as much as I comment on politics and the state of the country and all that, I'm just not savvy enough an observer of politics.
That would be a good Spaces with getting Laura on there.
Yeah. And let's see if she said she thinks Michelle Obama's got a shot at being the nominee. Let's see if she is. I don't know what's going to happen. I also don't know what to believe. I saw something today on Twitter, and you can't believe much of what you see on Twitter, but it suggested that in some states, Biden is already guaranteed to be on the ballot and they can't replace him. I don't know why that would be true, considering they haven't even had the convention yet. So I'm inclined to not believe that Biden can't be replaced in some states, but I've heard that. So let's just see how the next month shakes out. And
it's just a total mess. I heard on the radio this morning, this is before our time, before we were involved, with politics, but in 68, 72, and in 80, they had similar conventions where they were split like this, and those elections were all disasters for the Democrat Party.
Yeah, again, it's going to come down on a referendum on Trump. You have people who will go to the polls because they hate Trump. There might be fewer people this time than before, but you're still going to get a lot of them. You're going to have a lot of liberal white people that want to show how virtuous they are by voting for a minority, whoever that minority is. I don't know how much else to say. And then we I don't want to touch too much more on politics, but then you have the assassination where we still don't have
that's on the back burner now. That's off the stove. That's not even on the. Right. Nobody's talking about it.
Right, and it'll fade away, and people will forget about it. I won't.
Kimberly Cheadle needs to be fired this morning.
Well, I think I heard she's supposed to resign, but who the hell knows?
Oh, that needs to happen, and quickly, because more and more stuff is coming out on that, and maybe some of it's conspiracy stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that has a lot of validity to it, and we need answers.
Yeah. Can we dive into, I don't want to spend too much time doing this because I don't have a ton of time today.
Yeah.
But can we talk about what happened yesterday?
Sure.
All right. So I think people follow the show, follow me on Twitter, follow you. We had a 17-1 winner at Ellis, a first-time starter, where the dam had produced some babies that won. But what I want to talk about is a race that that really hurt me.
It hurt you and me, and that was the most excruciating thing I've ever. I was watching on a phone at Portillo's by Hawthorne. It was disgusting.
Yeah,
Delmar, right?
Yeah, it was Delmar's fifth. The Wicker, no, that wasn't the Wicker. It was just an allowance, an $80,000 optional claimer and a mile and an eighth.
Well, I'm going to pull it up, and we're going to watch the.
So to set the stage, here's the thing. Before you press play on the replay, I was drinking. My wife and I kind of took a little vacation yesterday. We went to this hotel nearby on the beach, and Saturday, you and I were on the air together, live streaming for like the whole day.
Yeah, 5 hours. Good content. Made a lot of money.
Not 5 hours, but then we also did the morning. So when the day ended, and my wife, she didn't make a dig at me, but she was like, "Boy, you were doing a lot of horse racing today." And she knows this. We've been together about 5 years. She knows that on the weekends it's a big part of my life. But weather was nice yesterday, and I said, you know what? I'm not gonna tune out my family for another day. Let me handicap in the morning, put some picks in, and just go be with my wife. And I wanted to do that. I mean, it was a nice day. We hung out in the pool and drank, and I drank more than I probably should have. Unfortunately, I tend to not do stupid things when I'm drunk. I don't tend to embarrass myself, maybe on some Twitter videos.
Your videos were great. My dad was laughing.
But I wanted to just put the bets in, and I didn't even watch many of the races live, to be honest. I was just kind of paying attention to what I was engaged with and so forth. And but the downside to that is that I wasn't really paying attention at all to the tote board in Delmar's fifth. So for everybody that remembers, in that race, I used the number 1 Irish Prophet on top, who was 10-1 on the morning line, and then the favorite in there was Divine Propos, who I just saw ran fifth, not fourth. Mm-hmm. But then the two other horses that I liked in there were the 5 Escape Artist, who I knew was going to be loose on the lead early, and it turns out as I'm looking at the chart, was actually not loose on the lead early. So I guess I would have been wrong about that, but I knew the horse had ability, would be forwardly placed. And then the 7 Request, I also liked at 15-1. And what I did was I played the 1 to win. I played exact as the 1 over the 5, 6, and 7 because I respected the even money favorite. And then I played 5, 6, and 7 over the 1. And I didn't watch the race. And then my phone starts blowing up, and I'm in a haze because I actually, believe it or not, I don't do this often at all. I passed out. We went back to the room. I took a quick shower and lay down on the bed, and I felt my wife said I was snoring. Okay, this is at whatever time of day the 5th race at Del Mar was going off. And I wake up and I see the text from you and Brent, and I see Twitter is blowing up, and I'm like, people are like, one guy's congratulating me. A couple people played $1 trifecta boxes.
Yeah, they hit like $500-600 on that or something.
Well, no, I played for 50 cents. The tri paid $5.52 for 50 cents. So over 1,100 for $1, and I blanked. I blanked because my 19-1 lost a head and a nose if we're coming up the rail. I want to watch the replay when you run it here.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Let's
put
go
it
ahead and
up.
run it. So the play was the one over the 5, 6, and 7, and I believe it or not, I actually have not seen the whole race yet.
Oh God, it's excruciating. Here, let's
It's just gonna upset me to watch.
just so well. I'll tell you what I had. I mean, I think I told you what I bet, and I had a win bet as well. But it was.
And props to the people who watch the show and follow me on Twitter who were smarter than me.
Hold on. Let me find out how to get.
Sad.
Wait a minute. Hold on. For some reason, it's. Let's get it. How come I can't get?
No, just take. No, don't do it. Do it.
Yeah, I can raise
it. You drag it up.
Oh, there you go. I got it.
All
right.
They're all sad.
We're in the one hole.
1, 5, 6, 7.
And away they go.
Whoop.
Irish Prophet broke smart.
How are you
on
doing?
the inside gate, sets off
Sorry.
Maltese Falcon right there. Now
There we
the
go.
outside horses, Castle Leoc and Dean Martini coming up to
So there's the
go.
one
Right in behind those two
in
now.
about third or fourth on the rail.
Just in behind that comes Sar War in the white cap, 5 off the leader. Not in a big hurry out front. Maltese Falcon in the red towards the rear, and then Divine Propos. Behind that,
7 is outside of me.
Living Life is down at the rail, and Malibu Coast Trails 10 lengths would cover.
God, my God, 19-1.
They head to the 3/4 pole, and Castle Leoc in no hurry.
Get the 5. The 5's kind of in the middle there.
Martini's on the far side, down at the rail.
I think we're getting a nice trip. The fractions aren't very fast here, but we're getting a good trip right on the rail.
Maltese Falcon in the red is 4 lengths off the leaders. Sar War starts to make headway without using any energy now. And there goes Sar War on the far side. Sar War going all the way up to second. He's going to take the lead as they've quicker notice early, but Sar War's gone all the way through to lead them. Dropping back to mid-pack as
I'm very happy at this point so far.
And then comes Divine Propos. Behind that is Living Life and Master Game.
So one's getting scrubbed on a little bit, but it looks.
Into the turn they go now, and Castle.
Oh,
looks like he's got a horse. Looks like he's got a horse.
In the second spot,
and there goes the 7. So I'm jammed up a little bit. I just get shuffled.
Yeah, a little bit there, but
and also in there
it's just.
And Escape
I ran into traffic.
They come for home.
Look at this.
I'm still jammed up. Oh my God!
I know.
Leader, but they coming at him
now we got
it.
Okay,
I would have thought I was going to win right here.
I'm like screaming.
At the rail. Prophet flying down at the rail. They hit the wire. 3 noses on.
Can you believe that shit? Do you know?
Very close. It might have been Reichquist. Irish Prophet.
I had a $5 try.
Escape Artist.
Over those horses with the one on top. I had $20 exactas straight over those horses and a win bet for 50. I probably would have won like 10 grand on that if you put everything together or more. Maybe.
So the last thing here is there's no excuse for me not having that try where I like 4 horses, 3 of them are long shots and they run 1, 2, 3. My horses run 1, 2, 3, 5.
Yeah, but Justin, what I also did was I did the $20 one over, but I also did those horses over the one. Finished fucking third.
Yeah, and the one was best. I mean, the one was.
Yes, yes. It's just one of the most. Of all the races we hit over the weekend, you remember the loser. I can't remember what I hit anymore.
Well,
except the Ellis race because that's fresh. But this one here, I'm going to remember this one for a month or 2.
Well, listen. This is the second time in the last month or a month and a half where I have given out big prices that were, and I was all over the race. One was a race at Churchill where I liked an 18-1 and a 23-1 that run first, third. I had a win bet on the one that was third, but I liked them both. And, I missed the try in that day, and it's just inexcusable. So I need to, Frank and I have had many conversations about that structure. And,
I guess Jordan said Mike Mike Smith, I mean.
Well, I think the problem is that Mike just got caught in traffic and, it happens. But I need to get my head wrapped around the proper way to bet these races because there's no excuse for me not hitting that race for 15 to 20,000, and I hit it for zero. And some of my Twitter followers played 50-cent exacta boxes and hit for 550. I mean,
we have people that at least hit and made money on the race. I hit zero. I needed the horse to run second at least there. The fact that I go from, I think I have just pure joy watching it come up the rail, and I think I'm going to win. And then I'm like, okay, well, hang on. Did I finish second at least? And to finish third by, if you look at the chart,
there's no excuse, and it's hard.
I didn't have it in any third slots. That's the problem, and I never do I usually have a strong opinion on the horse first and second slot. I never have him in the third, and I don't box 3 horses for 50 cents or $1.
Well, it would have cost nothing. I mean, to do a 4-horse try box is $24 for $1. I mean, I could have done it for $5 for $120 total bet, and I'd be up, $5,500. So here's I want to move on because it's just going to make me madder than I already am.
Joseph B on Twitter said he had a $50 double into Irish, and would have been nice way to end a big weekend because it was paying 45 to 1. So the fact that our horse finished third too cost him a $50 double would have been, Jesus, that would have been, who knows what the hell.
Yeah, I don't know what the winner before paid, but I'm surprised it paid that little.
Yeah, I know. 45 to 1 seems
low.
Must have been a favorite.
Maybe the winner before was 1 to 5.
Well, let me look. 3. Yeah, it was 1 to 2.
Okay. So anyway, here's the bottom line. I didn't hit. I'm glad that people who pay attention to me on Twitter hit. We say we do it for the people, and I know we're just kind of being smart asses when we say that.
Right.
But we kind of mean it, but I don't get any money for this, but I do get a sense of satisfaction when people win money and I play a part.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I can't, it doesn't put money in my bank account, but I remember I have that Animal Kingdom silks right there that you can see over my right shoulder. That's from a derby party in 2011, where I hosted a derby party. I told a bunch of my friends that were there to bet Animal Kingdom, and he wins, and everybody goes nuts. It just like the camaraderie of being around people who just want a lot of money. It's just a lot of fun. So, I'm glad we did that, but I gotta be better, and that's the bottom line. Can we talk about the one race? There's only one race I'm playing today.
Okay.
I love that Ellis Park is racing on a Monday, and I know that's a new thing. The final race of the day is at 1 mile and an eighth on the turf. It's maiden special weight, and this is not common for me to do this. I did do it this weekend, and we actually cashed a nice ticket at Saratoga when I used the morning line favorite on top, and it worked out well. The number 2 horse, Dash Man, is 4 to 1 on the morning line, and I don't think it's going to be 4 to 1. I could be wrong about this. What I want to do is make sure I'm not missing any scratches. I did check before we went live here to make sure that that there weren't any key scratches. I always check Kevin Kirstein's Twitter feed.
Nothing on formulator yet.
Yeah, there isn't. And I don't see it there. As of last night, there was the horses that I'm using were all supposed to be in here. The last thing I'm going to check is my ADW app just to be sure, because sometimes that does reflect. Well, the tote board's open there. They're taking bets, and we don't have any scratches in the finale. Race 9 at Ellis Park today. Number 2, Dash Man. I watched the replays of his 2 races, his last 2 starts. One was at Gulfstream in December. The other was at Churchill last November. Broke way outside, post 11, both 11 of 12 once and then 11 of 11. And
wow, yeah.
Definitely was wide at bad points in both races. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, lost ground. The winner of the December race, Hammerstein, came back to run a close second in the Kitten's Joy, a grade 3 to First World War, who has since gone on to win other stakes races. and then Enlighten is still hasn't raced since that day. That was the third finisher there. And then if we look at the Churchill race on November 4th, the winner there, Edgartown, I know from some stakes races at Gulfstream this winter, didn't win any of them, but was kind of in the mix. Not a slouch. And then Surf City, who was second, just won a race the other day on the 20th. That would have been 2 days ago at Ellis, breaking the maiden in a turf sprint. So I mean, the company that the two Dashman has been keeping is okay, and there is a bit of a layoff, but Brian Lynch can win off a layoff.
Yep.
So that's and I think we're going to we should get a good trip. Certainly no reason for this horse to be any worse than in the 2 path. You've got a long run to the first turn at Ellis, this being a 1.8 mile race. So, Declan Cannon should have plenty of time to get the rail. We get first Lasix. The 3, Redemption Spite, I think is probably going to be loose on the lead. Okay. And typically when you have a 1.8 mile turf races, especially 1.8 mile maiden special weight turf races, I do like playing horses that are going to be forwardly placed, especially when those horses have been forwardly placed at shorter distances, like a mile, exactly like the 3 Redemption Spite has been. Redemption Spite would probably be a prominent part of my tickets and is going to be on my tickets. I am concerned about this one stealing it. So if we get the 8-1 morning line on Redemption Spite, I might even play a saver exacta or a try with the 3 on top on some smaller tickets, but the main play is going to be the 2. And then in the second spot, we'll have the 3. The 6 Bomb Cyclone, I would encourage you to watch the replay of that one's last start. It's the same race that Redemption Spite came out of. And the 1-2 finishers in there, Aztecas Gold and Redemption Spite were way up close. In fact, if you notice from the chart of that race that Aztecas Gold won, the top 5 finishers were basically 1, 2, 3, 4, and like 9th or 10th. And the one that was 9th or 10th early was Bomb Cyclone. So the race kind of favored the front runners in there, the horses that were up close.
Good point.
The winners had a great trip. The winner, Aztecas Gold, had a great trip. Redemption Spite had a great trip. Bomb Cyclone lost some ground. Let me make sure I'm checking my facts on that because.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at the chart. I mean, way out of it, and you're right. The other horses it was a merry-go-round except for him.
4 path, Stalk the Pace in the 4 path, 5 wide at the quarter pole. So I don't remember. I did watch this replay, and I made a note that it was a good effort. I forget how much time Bomb Cyclone spent wide, but I know it was a significant part of the race around the turn. So I think that one ran a good race. It was first off a long layoff. I think there's every reason to believe this one will improve here. Declan Cannon does choose our 2-horse, but that one is solid. And then number 11, English Channel, comes out of a race that was won by Rebel Red, who came back to win a first level allowance race for Sherry DeVoe at Saratoga a little over a week ago. So
big number too.
That's right. Yeah, I noticed that. And then Rocky Joy came back and with I didn't watch the replay, but I'm guessing this may have been a semi trip of death or. Yeah,
it looks like a trip of death all the way.
Maybe not quite a trip of death, but I don't want to watch the replay. But
on the chart, it looks like it.
Yeah, it does. But so I mean, the point is, Rebel Red and Rocky Joy they're not slouches. And again, English Channel, who did get a perfect trip, closed and was the best of the rest. You had the top 2 that kind of ran off from everybody.
Yeah,
7 lengths back to third. And English Channel kind of outgained them all at a mile and 16th. Gets a little more ground. Gonna lose some ground here. We're post 11, but again with that 1.8 mile, Brian Hernandez will have a little time, I think, to sort things out and save some ground. So for me, it's 2 over 3, 6, 11, and then if the tote board goes up on the 3, maybe I'm gonna play a trot 2. So it's gonna be 2 with 3 6 11 with 3 6 11, and then pay attention to the 3. Maybe use the 3 on top in a smaller bet just in case we actually get that 8-1. I think that 3 is going to get bet because the buyer speed figures are certainly competitive. It's the clear early leader. I mean, there's just no one else in here that has any ability at all, at least has shown any ability at all.
Well, I would think the 4 and the 5 will try those tactics, maybe try and keep up. They might get TODs.
And they might. And Bomb Cyclone's getting blinkers on for the first time. So, that could be a factor. But the play for me is Dash Man. I'm hoping the bettors don't crush this horse.
So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a $10 try, the 2 over the 3 6 11. I'm also going to do some exactas first and second slot with those horses for 20. I'm guessing maybe a win bet too. We'll see what that looks like. But Dashman, the horse. The Colt is making its 3-year-old debut, and it was already as fast as all these horses anyway, as a 2-year-old. Obviously as a 2-year-old, you can't run on Lasix, and I believe. So now it gets Lasix. Right. And
it's a layoff.
They grow up. They grow up a lot, and the work tab has been very strong. I like this runner a lot, and it showed the ability to already routes. It's not like we're trying something different here. So this one should be able to jump up a lot on the speed figure scale today. I agree 100% with this pick. And I think we can get paid, especially if we can get some of these the better prices in the second slot.
Yeah. What I want to do, why don't you and I
I wanted to talk about some of the dirt races, but
if you like the dirt, we have a dirt stakes race for 6 furlongs, which not really
which I have some interest in.
Okay, what I was going to suggest is the 6th race is a 2-year-old maiden special weight at a mile.
Let's look at it.
We could look and see if there's anything in here that has a dam that has maybe produced multiple turf winners or maybe multiple debut winners. I'm kind of just glancing through the field. I don't really like to play a lot of 2-year-old races. I think the one we hit yesterday at Ellis for 17-1, that one may have been a 2-year-old race.
That I can't remember, but it had a really nice sibling. There was a really good. I did the Hawthorne show with Jim and Emily and the Caspers yesterday. We failed. I don't know. I liked a bunch of different races we talked about. We talked about a couple other ones. There was one race we didn't talk about, and Emily comes by after the fact and says, "Yeah, there's a good sibling underneath that winner." The horse had 2 horrible dirt races. It went off at 39-1. Had awesome turf breeding underneath and an awesome sibling in it. And it won the race, long story short. And I'm like, man, if I would have just spent 5 minutes looking at that race instead of poo-pooing it because I didn't like it at first glance, I might have recognized that and played it. But here, you have a midshipman here. Let's see what not much on the siblings there. In the 2-hole, the 1-hole, the 1.
I think if we go, let me look at the 6.
I don't know much about Jack Hancock. He's
the 6 sprint out pass is out of
Constitution. Okay.
2.
Nice broodmare.
The mom has spit out 8 babies. 2 of them won at first asking.
Oh, look at this. Laura's Light. Very classy.
And great turf page.
Multiple stakes winner. Great turf page. Even Absolute Chaos, who only ran once on turf, but was, pretty quick. Here's a Play Action Pass. I remember this horse. Awesome, numbers here. 4 wins on turf.
Yeah. Barry
Lee, they never tried it on turf, but it was 1-for-1 on synthetic with a good number. That's kind of a question mark. Why they never tried that horse on turf.
First time star. How the trainer? I don't know. I'm not sure if the trainer.
There's a lot of turf winners here out of this one. This one makes a lot of sense. Robert Medina with Christian Torres.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one that we could definitely at least include on your horizontal if your idea is about the pick 4 here.
August Dawn Farm. I think that's Bill Parcells.
Is it really?
I think so.
I'm sure we could Google that if anybody out there wants to do the work for us and let us know.
And Robert Medina has got 3 wins already at the meet.
I see that.
Christian Torres is got 20% rider. Yeah, I think we got to play here, Steve-O. I think just if as long as the tote board cooperates, I think the 6 in race 6, who by the way on the morning line is 6-1.
Yeah, 6-1. Nice drill on June 25th out of the gate, and other steady works after.
Hey,
this one should be ready, and the siblings are there for the sod, and it is a mile, so we're gonna have to make sure we're gonna have enough stamina to get that. Anybody that has a foundation that has route races, the 8's definitely going to be going with the hood, and it's already fast anyway. I don't want to play it at that price. Maybe we can include it on a horizontal, but I don't know about that. Mike Maker has the 10 here. It's a Catholic boy out of a Speightstown, so this is one that you might want to take a deep dive into. The sibling page doesn't look great, but Catholic boy. The breeding is there for maybe a turf run, and plus Mike Maker's no stranger to winning on turf.
And then the one you wanted to look at, I think, was the 8th, that 6 furlong turf stakes race for 3-year-old fillies. I'm sorry, 3-year-old fillies, 3-year-olds not.
So I'm gonna probably go 6'10" at the very least in this race. I wanted to go to the 7th real quick.
Okay, let's do it.
The 7th race, it's a mile. It's that 1.5 turn mile, and I hate being on the inside. The 1 did scratch.
Yep. Well, so now the 2 is going to be on the inside.
The 2 has it, but the 2 is one. I know this horse from Oaklawn. I ran against some decent runners, but there's one in here that's better than this one out of Oaklawn. The 5. There's a ton of speed in here. I don't know who is going to get the lead here. The 6 wants to go. The 8 will be prominent, but the 9's going to be fast with Loveberry. The 10 has done its best work on the lead. I would imagine at the 11, stretching out from that 5.5 is just going to show a lot of speed as well. So maybe it's going to be a rabbit for Joe Sharp with the rail horse, but the 5 here doesn't win a lot, but it's been banging heads against some crazy good horses out at Oaklawn. They gave it some time off, and it's been working well here in preparation for this race. Bejarano gets back on it, and I just feel like this one can sit like mid-pack, relax, and eventually make a run at some point and power home. This one ran against Magic Tap. And I mean, if I showed you some of these horses, I mean, these are.
Well, what about the 8 Can't Hush This? Also an Oaklawn horse, Mike Maker first off the claim.
Let's take a look. I like the 5 because it's freshened up and it's working well. Let me see what you have at the 8 here.
Yeah, both the 7 and the 8 should be coming from a little bit off the fast pace.
The 8 was claimed out of a Churchill event for 50 for 7. It really going those 2 turns. I mean, the mile race, the 2-turn race at Oaklawn is a 2-turn race, but it's a short stretch. The other longer stretch races, it really never finished well. I kind of question. This one might be a really good 1-turn longer, like a 7 or mile type horse. I don't know about this one with this 1.5 turn weird circumference at Ellis, but I mean, if you're asking me who I like out of the 2, I'll throw this one on my horizontal if that's where you're getting at. My top pick's going to be the 5, but yeah, absolutely. This one, it is a mile distance, so absolutely it could maybe do some damage, and it's been in Maker's barn for 3 weeks now, and he feels confident enough to run it here.
I think if I go 3 deep in this race, I play 7, 8, 9. So I might play like just a small pick 4. Using 7, 8, 9 in that leg, singling my 6 in the
So you're
first.
throwing my 5 completely out.
No, I'll throw your 5 in there.
Yeah, throw my 5 in there. It's been working smartly over there locally off the freshening, and I think it's going to fire a good one. Now the 8th race. There's 2 horses I'm interested in. This is a weird race because, this is a 6. Right? It's a 6 furlong dash. Looks like the 1 scratched. Okay.
Well, we've got. It's only a 6-horse field, so I already know what I'm doing. Here's my pick.
So the four is your favorite. The 4 has poor efforts at Ellis. That's my notes here. It runs big at Churchill. Every time it's run at Ellis, it's run like shit. And what's going to change today? I think it's a poor favorite. If it beats me, it beats me. I'm going to throw it completely off my ticket. I need to see this horse run a bang out race at Ellis before I'm going to support it. I do want to mention the they took my 8 out. Okay. I was going to go to the 8, so it's scratched. Well, American Band is one that is a long shot that we have a little bit of history. We dropped a slip on this horse on May 4th of 23. We got out shook on it. Oaklawn's crazy at the claim box. I think I want to say there was a 15-way shake for this mare at the time. So we lost the shake, obviously. This is an interesting runner because it's Oaklawn. It's only run at 2 tracks, Oaklawn and Churchill. At Oaklawn, it's always run a great race. At Churchill, it ran like shit all 3 times. Now, you could say the class in some of those races were tough at Churchill, but then again, it won a stake at Oaklawn and an A other than at Oaklawn. So, and Oaklawn's tough in its own right. So, I think just getting to Ellis is going to be a coin flip. Is it going to run like it does at Oaklawn at Ellis? Is it going to run like it does at Churchill at Ellis? I'm going to hope that this one fires a big race and runs more like those Oaklawn races. I do need maybe another horse because my 8 scratch. Where were you going?
I'm embarrassed to say how I'm playing this race, but with only 6 horses and a little bit of a price in the first leg, I'm gonna use the all button here.
Oh man, where's Frank? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we got 6 horses. You're gonna use the all button. Well, you're gonna be rooting for my horse, that's for sure. I'm not saying the 4 can't win. I just want to see one. I want to see this horse show me. And I think it's definitely a vulnerable favorite. And if there's ever a race where you hit an all button, this would be it because I think the 4 is vulnerable. And any of these other horses, they're all going to be good prices.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess I could buy that.
Let me ask you a question. You were talking about Oaklawn and the amount of time you spent handicapping all those races this year. As those horses go to other tracks, are you finding that your work you put in earlier this year handicapping Oaklawn is helping you handicap other races when those horses, like if you see a horse pop up like at Ellis or somewhere else?
Oh yeah, I know the history of the horse. I know all of the company lines. That's what you get when you work at when you're betting a circuit. You know all the horses. You have mental trip notes. I always put my trip notes in anyway.
Yeah.
But you know how the class, like who they've been running against, and it really makes it easy when you concentrate on one track or one, like you like turf routes. And that's what works for you, and you're unbelievable at doing that. When you're looking at a 2-year-old, like a maiden special weight on dirt going 5 furlongs, you're lost, which is fine. I'm lost too, to be honest with you. But yeah, absolutely, Justin, answer your question. I mean, if you're paying attention to any circuit anywhere, you're going to know all the idiosyncrasies of the trainers, the jockeys, and the horses, and you're going to understand the class and the company lines of each race. So
that's a
absolutely.
Big one you just touched on is the trainers and trainer angles and so forth. You know, knowing trainer intent and knowing the kind of moves where a trainer thrives versus the moves where a trainer isn't so good, that's probably something you've gained in terms of advantages by focusing so heavily on Oakland, because, I'm not there yet. Anytime I try to say, oh, the trainer's not great in this spot or whatever, I pass a horse and then it wins at 12-1. So
Right.
I try to not pay too much attention to trainer angles. But when you follow an entire circuit and you see how they handle the claiming game or things like that, I can imagine that's a huge advantage.
Right. Yeah, so I'm going to play the pick 4. I don't know if I'll play the pick 5. I didn't really look at the fifth race is no. Wait a minute. What is the fifth race? Yeah, it's a dirt race. It's a 50,000 non-2 life event. I don't know. I might look at that. I might not, but I'll definitely be playing the pick 4 today. I love your play Dashman a lot. I'm going to have all those verts and horizontals, and I'm probably going to single it. I will single it in my pick 4.
Yeah, and I'm singling the 6 in the first leg of the pick 4, the first time starter.
Yeah, that one looks good. I am worried a little bit about the outside horse, but the 6 makes a lot of sense. I'll probably go 6-10. Is that smart to go too deep? Some people say, hey, you should have an opinion or go 3 deep. Don't go. I've heard people say don't go too deep, and I'm like, well, why?
I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't understand. I don't know if there's only 2 horses you think can win. Then
right.
I don't know why you would say.
Well, I'm going to go 6-10 in that first leg. You're going to single, and you're singling in the last. So I'll go 6-10. I'm going to go. We talked about 3 horses and the dirt race with Ethereal Road and the other ones you have. And then I'm not going to hit the all button. I'm gonna try and beat that favorite with maybe 2 or 3 horses, and then we already talked about our Dashman play, and we'll see what happens. I'm gonna probably do a $5, $10 pick 4. Frank won a huge pick 4 at Turfway Park. Probably about 9 months ago.
I think it was a pick 5, but yes,
or pick 5, and he did. Did he hit it like 4 or 5 times, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah. So doing just a regular 50 center or $1.
No, I never do that. I'm
getting away from that. I don't do that anymore. I want to, like, my pick 3s you've seen our pick 3s. We'll do a $20 or $50 pick 3.
Yeah, that's how I roll.
And we'll hit it several times. The trifecta. I used to do a 4-horse box or do a $1 key do 5. Have an opinion. Do a $5 or a $10 trifecta key. It's not going to cost you a lot. Put 3 horse underneath. It's $30 for $5. You'll hit the try 10 times. I did yesterday with your play. I got back $1,900 for a $30 investment. It's so that's how you got to play those races. And place and show is dumb. Do a exacta the other way. If you instead of a place, do a few horses over your horse to run second for an exacta for like $20. But we could talk about betting later. We touched on it with the Caspers a little bit on our Hawthorne show yesterday morning, which, by the way, was a resounding success. A lot of good feedback on that.
Yeah, I did watch some of the show. I tuned in late. What you guys give out any winners on that?
I hit a straight. I think it was a $50 or $100. What did I bet? I hit a straight $100 exacta with a favorite by Chris Block over a horse that Jim Miller gave out that I would have never picked. It was the 4-horse in that turf race. And because Jim liked it and Emily liked the 6, I did a $100 1 over the 4-6, and it went 1 over the 4, and I won like $700 or something like that.
Wasn't there one part where Emily was giving out a possible horse for 4th place? That was like a bunch of negative buyers.
That was
1-4.
That horse beat one horse, but listen. It was tongue in cheek. I kind of ripped on her a little bit, but we were laughing about it. But
I just wanted to know because
it beat one horse. By the way,
I don't listen to Emily on politics. I do listen to her when it comes to her opinions, and if she touts a horse that I had previously,
It wasn't her top pick. She just said, "Hey, throw it in underneath." Now, in her defense, the horse was horrible on dirt. It did perk up a little bit, I guess you could say, a little bit on turf. But it was funny if you go back and watch the video where Jim was cracking up. The PPs were so bad. I said that horse couldn't win at Mountaineer.
Yeah,
for 5,000 maiden, or at a fair somewhere. But that's all right.
I got to get back to life, my friend.
Yes, we have some good content here. I'll be playing the races. I think we packed in some good stuff here. I think we're going to make some money.
Yeah, I think we're on the right track. We're giving out winners. I wish I had been better yesterday at Del Mar and bet that race the right way, but I didn't. So that's it. Let's. I think this wraps up the week because I think you got Tuesday racing. I don't think anywhere that we care about runs on Tuesday, do they? The Horseshoe, do they run on Tuesdays?
We got Saratoga probably on Wednesday. Maybe we can do something on Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah.
I kind of, the days kind of run together. The Horseshoe's not running thoroughbreds right now. They're at a 10-day break. So, yeah, we've got exactly nothing to talk about tomorrow. So you and I will reconnect later in the week, brother.
Let's do it.
All right. See ya.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining in. 200 people watching. Like and subscribe, please. Thank you. We're approaching 700 people on our channel.